Drag queen Pattie Gonia is being sued by the recreational clothing company Patagonia for $1 for trademark infringement.
This is not a brand conflict. This is a corporation trying to erase an activist.
She uses a spoof of the Patagonia logo, their exact trademark, and it has a rainbow colors, and then the name is Pattie Gonia instead of Patagonia.
Pattie, girl, you cannot have me out here defending a corporation like this.
Do you all remember when I said sales culture is rape culture? I want you to think about that in the context of writing for and parroting a corporation who is saying, well, what did she expect? She kind of asked for it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Normal Gaze, where we take on insanity. I'm Brad Polumbo here with Clarkson Lawson.
What's up, guys? Brad's putting me to work this week. We're doing like three members only.
I think so. That's
three
the plan,
members only
yeah.
videos.
4 public videos. 3
We're trying out
only.
a new schedule to give members a little bit more
and to entice
perks.
more of you to become members. In addition to reading member comments, which we've been doing.
We need more money. We got a
eating us
taste
up.
of it, and now we just want more and more and more. So give us your money.
Okay.
Yeah.
But tell them what we're doing. Oh, and then for our main members only video, we're going to read insane grinder messages from Reddit.
Yeah.
That are totally not from Clarkson's personal phone. They're from Reddit, guys.
They're from. I don't have Grinder.
I know, but you did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. Once upon a time, many years ago.
You've heard it here first. Brad is a.
Yeah. True. Anyway, for this video, we're going to talk about drag queens.
Okay. I love drag queens.
A drag queen?
Is that RuPaul?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I didn't know you watch RuPaul.
I don't. It's from a clip with like, there's just.
In the interview.
And the dude like sees his life
the
flash before
queen
his
of
eyes.
drag. And then he says the queen of drag instead of a drag queen. He says a drag queen. And then he's like, I didn't know that was offensive. He's like, I'm the queen of drag.
Oh, but he thought he said something like offensive and was going to get canceled. And you could see his eyes go like,
yeah.
It's quite funny. Anyway, we're talking about Pattie Gonia. You remember her? We talked about her once before. So here's the bio. Pattie Gonia is literally the full. It's just Patagonia.
Yeah.
1.8 million followers on Instagram. Drag queen, climate activist, community organizer. Do you remember what we talked about last time?
It was the flag
Pattie?
in the park, right?
Yeah. So we'll insert a flashback clip here to that.
Yeah.
Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth. So call it a protest, call it a celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries. So we raise this flag higher than ever before so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated.
So stunning. So brave.
So brave. I mean, this is like, this face should be on Mount Rushmore. Like this is some hard work that it is doing.
The whole video is stupid because it plays into the naturalist fallacy. Like natural is not good and unnatural is not bad. And that's a totally false premise. Tsunamis are natural. Vaccines are unnatural. Life-saving medications, unnatural. It's like,
But also, like, everything is technically natural.
yeah.
In the same breath, too.
It's
It's just like, you don't have to subscribe to the idea that everything natural is
So
good.
the whole point of the video is stupid. I still find that whole thing cringe. Like, trans is natural. A bunch of insect species change sex or what. It's like a very dumb argument.
Yeah.
And then they broke the rules of the park and then were surprised when they got in trouble for breaking the rules of the park. Like,
Sure.
I just didn't have any sympathy for them. Obviously, they went overboard in the backlash to them for doing it, but it was kind of a silly stunt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember much about it to comment on it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to, but just in case people remember the lore, we did previously cover this person once. So now this person, I'm going to show you a sample of her content that she's up to these days. Then we're going to get into the new lawsuit against this drag queen.
Okay.
And we're going to, spoiler alert, we're not siding with the drag queen.
I should have reached out to her before this episode.
I mean, she's made lots of public comments about it all. So
Yeah.
we're going to have her side of the story in here as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Anyway, here's this amazing content about how dandelions are queer. to give you a taste of what Pattie's been up to as of late.
Okay.
Whether we're straight, bi, queer, trans, there's an ability with queerness to adapt in creative ways against all odds. And I see that everywhere in nature. I see that in the dandelion growing up in the middle of the concrete sidewalk in New York City. I see that in a way that a tree twists one way and another to find light, and then, oh damn, half the tree got chopped off and it still finds a way to survive. Like, that is queerness to me. And the more I see queerness in nature, the more I see it in myself. The more I remember that queerness is nothing but natural. Queerness can teach us all something. The power of survival, the power of creativity.
I totally get what she's saying.
I mean, I do too. It's just kind of the, like, when you
like, sometimes I'll be on a run and I'll see something stupid and I'll like turn it into this like huge metaphor for life. And like, there was one the other day, I forgot what it was. It wasn't a dandelion in the sidewalk, but it was something along those lines. And I was like, wow, there's a lesson in this. And I was like, oh my God, you need to like socialize.
When the shroom hits.
Yeah.
Who's going to win Love Island USA this season? Well, honestly, I have no idea because I'm not really watching the show. I'm just tracking the absurd drama and cancellation attempts on Twitter from all these unhinged fans. What do you mean Gabriel follows Donald Trump? That's so offensive. Yeah, get a grip, babes. But anyway, if you do know, or if you have a theory about who might win, you might be interested in the odds from our channel partners at Kalshi about who the Love Island USA winning couple will be. So people think there's a 36% chance it will be Anya and KC, a 14% chance it will be Kata and Zach, and a 13% chance it will be Kenzie and Caleb. If you are keeping up with all the drama on Love Island, you can go ahead and also keep up with it on Kalshi, the first CFTC regulated exchange dedicated to trading on the outcome of future events. And you can use code BREADP to get $20 free when you trade $20 today. Now back to the show.
So I kind of love that. I mean, I wouldn't say dandelions are queer, but I would say I understand the metaphor.
It's just
like
a bit silly
a metaphor
to me, I
on
guess.
human resilience. But I do reject this idea. Like, obviously there's a lot of struggles that come with being different, but I reject the idea that struggles are specific to being queer. I feel like it's just kind of part of the human experience.
Right.
So we can go from more of a macro perspective on that.
But also, like, they're saying queer is like nature, and nature is about survival. It's also mostly about death and violence, actually. Mostly nature is horrible.
Isn't actually the nicest thing.
Civilization is in opposition to the insane violence and destruction and, like, bloodshed of
Correct.
nature.
And if you've ever been to a circuit party, I would say maybe queerness is like nature.
Oh,
The violence and bloodshed.
but also, like, the she still does this thing where she, like, tries to argue that being queer, whatever the hell that means, is good or fine because it's natural. And that, to me, like, seats the entire framing that shouldn't be seated. The idea that what's natural is good
correct.
and what's unnatural is bad.
I reject that argument
I reject
entirely.
it 1000%.
Yeah.
But it seems like all of her hippie foo-foo rhetoric plays into that and then tries to argue that but queer is natural. And it's like, well, this animal species has gay animals, and it's like they're also each other. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a good argument to me, but whatever. It's just a taste.
Well, I think if you're somebody who
Pattie's
really
content.
enjoys nature, you're kind of gonna have that, like.
But you should have a more clear-eyed view about what nature is.
Yeah,
And you should be able to see the beautiful parts without pretending that nature is net beautiful.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, that's obviously not what we're gathered here to discuss.
No.
We're discussing the lawsuit that this person has been hit by
Okay.
from the apparel company
Patagonia.
Patagonia, right? And the context here is important to note. The Patagonia is not simply upset with this drag queen because of her name or because of her activism or the fact that she built a brand being called Pattie Gonia. They've been fine with that for years. They said, that's fine. We support you. We like your activism. But some recent developments have prompted them to file a lawsuit against Pattie. And Pattie is, shocker, playing the victim and saying they're trying to erase a proud, stunning drag queen. Here's a video from CNN that sums up the controversy.
If Patagonia wants to celebrate Pride Month this year by taking a queer climate activist to federal court, then I am here to fight for myself and I am here to fight for us.
Environmental activist and drag queen Pattie Gonia is being sued by the recreational clothing company Patagonia for $1 for trademark infringement. Except Gonia says it is about much more than a single dollar.
What they're actually trying to do is to take away my name permanently and threaten me with more than $1 million in legal fees. This is not a brand conflict. This is a corporation trying to erase an activist.
Patagonia filed the lawsuit in January after Pattie Gonia applied to trademark her name. The company also accused her of selling merchandise with branding similar to its own. The brand said in an open letter, "We wish we didn't have to do this," but it said the lawsuit was necessary to protect the brand we have spent the last 50 years building. In its suit, Patagonia alleges Pattie Gonia broke a prior agreement and continued to create and use versions of our logo, a claim she denies.
There was no agreement. In 2022, when I was collaborating with a third party, Patagonia asked me to follow certain terms, and I did. That wasn't a broad agreement about my future.
That's literally an agreement.
Patagonia argues that if
that's
it does not pursue action, it will not be able to prevent others from using its name and logo, posing, quote, long-term threats to Patagonia's brand and their activism. Pattie Gonia's video breaking her silence on the lawsuit has over 5 million views. She posted a second video responding to CEO Ryan Gellert's recent comments.
When Pattie started selling apparel, then started a business, then filed trademark applications for the exclusive use of Patagonia in apparel and environmental advocacy, and then wouldn't have a conversation. This is really a problem.
Social media users flooded Patagonia's comments section asking the company to drop the lawsuit. Patagonia has responded to the uproar saying, "We continue to want to resolve this." The company added, "We don't want to argue trademark law on social media," and listed its 3 key demands. 1. Withdraw all trademark applications. 2. Stop using our logos. And 3. Stop selling and promoting apparel and other products as Pattie Gonia.
I have never used their logo, font, or anything from their brand on our merch website. Instead, the lawsuit cherry picks a few examples of playful parody and fan art. You're saying the issue is the trademark? I'm willing to drop the trademark. And if I do that, you drop the lawsuit.
In a statement to CNN, Patagonia said, "The last thing we wanted was a legal fight with someone who shares our values, but we must protect our business and employees." Pattie Gonia's team said she will not comment further at this time.
No, she only makes Instagram reels about it. She doesn't comment to actual journalists. There's so much to unpack there. But Patagonia says a lot of the activist, because the things I do for this podcast, I downloaded the PDF of the legal complaint and actually read it. And parts of it are like incomprehensible to me because they're like talking about niche trademark law and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just them summarizing the facts of the situation. And they include screenshots of the email exchanges between Patagonia, the brand, and the drag queen's representative from 2022. They very clearly did have an agreement.
Well, she even said that.
She said there was no agreement. Then
they just laid out an agreement.
Yeah. And then there was this crazy thing where, like, when Pattie, the drag queen, first started selling merch and registered these trademarks, they like reached out to her. It was like, "Hey, circling back on our conversation, we want to come to some understanding here.
Yeah.
We're not comfortable with you selling merch and trademarking this name that's based on our trademark. Can we talk? Whatever." She sends them back like a nasty, insane email that's like, I don't know if it's her or her representative or whatever, but like, Pattie was planning on distancing from you anyway because you supplied one of your companies that's since no longer in operation, spinoffs, supplied gear to police and the military or some like crazy woke shit. The emails are in there. And it's like, then change your name if you hate.
But also, like, that has nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Anything, of course. And in this video, Pattie's like, they try to erase my name and take my name. That's literally incorrect.
Well, also, you took their name.
Correct.
I mean, isn't that the whole thing?
Yes. And then they are not trying to stop her from doing activism as Pattie Gonia.
And they're suing you for $1.
Because they're
And the thing is if you apply for a trademark and it gets approved, Patagonia loses their trademark if it's in the same category. Right?
No.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they have to sue in order to protect their trademark.
They have to sue in order to be able to enforce their trademark against future people.
Correct. So essentially they lose it. The whole purpose of the trademark kind of goes away if you allow somebody else to do it.
I don't
because
think,
then it would set a precedent in court
yeah,
if somebody else were to use Patagonia.
I don't think they lose it though. I think they would struggle to enforce it. But I get what you're saying. I'm just not sure about the technicalities of it.
Well, yeah, like your trademark doesn't go away, but there's a precedent in court to where if I now wanted to make merch that said Patagonia and then they took me to court, my lawyer would say, well, actually, there's other people doing it too.
In fairness, we should clarify. And it's hard because I went to the merch store.
Well, it's Pattie Gonia.
The merch does not use the Patagonia brand itself.
Right.
But the merch is clearly based on the personality of Patagonia.
Well, yeah, they're also in like kind of the same niche.
And it's like outdoor apparel niche.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's clearly competitive and it's derived from their brand. But in fairness to the drag queen, it's not like she literally put their logo on a mug and was selling it. But what she gaslights a little bit, though, is she's like, I never used their logo on our merch store. On our merch store, she used spoofs of their logo all the time on her social media, like Patagonia, but then it's all rainbowed. Gloves that say
so
Patagonia.
your marketing is using it.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then she's like, well, they are suing me for millions of dollars of legal. That's just how a lawsuit works. Like if you sue someone and win, they have to pay your legal fees.
I would say just drop the trademark and stop selling the merch.
That's the thing she's not willing to do, though, and the nuance there is there's the layer of the demands they are making of her. She's willing to drop the trademark application. What she's not willing to do is stop endorsing or selling products as Patagonia. So the problem is that what they are asking her to do is that they said, we were fine with this when you were an activist. Now you are building a company and trying to enrich yourself on this. And so the part of the stipulation she won't agree to is that they're saying you can't endorse products as Pattie Gonia, which prevents her from doing brand deals because she's done brand deals with their competitors.
Oh, you know what I would do if I was Patagonia? And this sounds like obviously maybe sue if you like want to get your shit, but if just for PR purposes, I would have just hired her.
Paid her off, yeah.
I would have paid her off.
Mm-hmm.
And hired her and done joint merch or something and had some of it get donated to a nature conservation fund.
Sure. Because part of the problem here is like the internet just blindly sides with the drag queen.
Yeah.
Even though the facts are almost exclusively in the corporation's favor.
Well, and it's important to remember that the drag queen is also a corporation.
Correct.
And people don't realize that when like a minority makes a corporation, they are still a corporation.
No, like literally has a LLC.
Yeah.
And they point that out in their lawsuit because when Pattie first, it was activism.
Yeah.
And it was like raising money
They're
for
not
nonprofits.
going to shut down an activist, a
but then
nature
Pattie
conservation
shifted
activist.
To a personal business.
Because she started getting followers.
And started hawking products. And I think I saved some of the images.
I think it was an error.
Oh, let me show you this. So on the left is a post from the social media of Patagonia where she uses a spoof of the Patagonia logo, their exact trademark, and it has a rainbow colors, and then the name is Pattie Gonia instead of Patagonia. That is on her social media. That is her business product. And so she doesn't sell that sticker, but she is literally using their thing as marketing. And then on the right is the kind of thing that she's selling. So it says Pattie Gonia Hiking Club. Right? It's like, it's not.
That's way too. If I were to see that, I'd be like, oh, it's Patagonia.
Same. And that's what they say in the lawsuit, that they're already flooded with confusion from customers saying, is this drag queen your employee? Is this you? Then they put in the lawsuit like thousands of comments, either thanking them because they love the drag queen or are upset about the drag queen, people confusing their brand for the drag queen. And the more I looked into this, it seemed just like unambiguously clear to me that this is in the wrong.
Listen, here's my advice. I think you should use this social media hype and everybody's on your side and you should rename yourself something very creative and be like, the corporations, they made me rename myself. I'm giving PR advice. And, stick it to the man. Become like very Trump. He talks about the deep state. Become very populist. Make an enemy out of the corporations, left-wing populists. Rename yourself. Get all of your liberal friends and leftist friends to retweet it. And then do a huge launch of your new brand. You have the PR. Do it now. while you have the views because people will stop caring about this.
And you
2
can
weeks
play
from
the
now.
victim and be like, the mean corporation forced me to change, when in reality,
I built a whole brand and I lost it because of a corporation. So now I'm called Nike. You know what I mean?
Nike? That would be
I don't
setting
know.
yourself up for the same
I
mistake.
know, that was the joke. That was the joke.
crazy part about all of this is that it's Patagonia, who's like the most activist,
woke, liberal,
climate, LGBT, like
Yep.
the most outspoken. Every email I get from them is something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's happening to them. And now they're the bad corporation.
I mean,
It's
if they were really
leopards eating face here.
a bad corporation, they would have shut her down
Activism
at
down.
the beginning.
I would have, to be honest.
If I was a corporation, I would too.
Because if I'm a corporation...
Because I'm not in control of your actions. So very easily, if people associate Patagonia with you, immediately they're going to have a bad taste about my brand.
I mean, yeah, as Patagonia, this broke national park laws and planted a trans flag. If I'm a corporation, I don't want you doing that.
I don't want my PR
but
department.
Patagonia would like that.
They did. They even said
But
that.
now it's, now she's doing something they don't like.
So
and it's-
honestly, I would say Patagonia, the brand,
Patagonia kind of f***ed up here.
you f***ed up.
You should have shut this down early.
This is exactly what happens.
When you enable delusional people and let them do whatever they want.
In business, you got to be a shark.
But what's so funny about this is that TikTok, obviously, like, people hate corporations and they like drag queens, right? Yet even many people on
Which
TikTok...
is fairly valid. I'll be honest. I don't hate corporations, but like...
Disagree. I like corporations.
I have a better relationship with drag queens than corporations.
I would say it depends on the corporation.
Who does more for you on a day-to-day basis? Corporations or drag queens?
Drag queens.
This as if he's not a poster child for black market big farm products. Anyway,
well, black markets aren't corporations legally.
No, where you tell
Are
me?
they?
You're telling me
No, they're not, because they don't pay taxes. They're
you're not
working
understanding that the products you buy from the dude at your gym are made by a corporation and sold for like research purposes, and then just sold to you.
Well, it depends if
So
they were
they're
made
still
by
corporation
research purposes or if they were made in a meth lab or something.
Hopefully, you're not taking anything made in a
kidding.
meth lab.
I'm kidding. I meant to say a bathtub because I was thinking about like prohibition, but I said meth lab instead. I've never done meth, you guys. I don't do that.
Oh yeah, because you're so much better than meth heads. You do other stuff.
No, I don't.
Okay, take that out.
I'm a virgin.
Edit that out. Actually, don't edit that out. It's kind of funny. Anyway, even some TikTokers were like, nah, sorry. I got to give this one to the corporation. So let's watch this. Okay. And then we're going to get to the crazy TikTokers who sided with Patagonia and were literally just like, Patagonia bad, drag queen good.
I'm going to put my sunglasses on for them.
All right, let's watch this one, though.
Pattie, girl, you cannot have me out here defending a corporation like this. I saw Patagonia's response to Patagonia suing her, and at first I was like, why does this big corporation need to sue a drag queen? And I saw her merch. Girl, it is a direct parody of the Patagonia logo. Yeah. Like, you knew what you were doing. Of course you're getting sued. They have to defend their trademark. Now you're out here speedrunning another lawsuit for defamation. Girl, this is such a bad look. I love you, but come on.
Yeah.
Even TikTokers were like, you are unreasonable. Because what happened was when Patagonia released her first video, the drag queen was like, they're trying to erase my activism and take my name and all this stuff. She said so many untrue things in that video that originally the way she presented it, people were super sympathetic. But then that clip of the CEO, a 3-minute clip of him on stage somewhere, went super viral where he walked through this very matter of fact. And that went super viral. And then people were like, wait, this is so in the wrong.
Well, I'm confused. Is she a corporation or a nonprofit?
She's a corporation now.
Okay, so she's a for-profit corporation.
She is an LLC.
So I would say I wouldn't consider this fully activism.
Well, it started as activism,
but
it morphed into her own business.
This is a corporation.
So now this is business to business.
Yes. This is a corporation fighting a corporation.
It's a big corporation fighting a little corporation.
Correct.
But to frame it as corporation versus drag queen, as many do, is very inaccurate.
Just little old me, drag queen, corporations trying to take me down. Meanwhile, she's got a lot of followers.
2 million on Instagram or something like that.
For her.
But I will say some of the videos like explaining why this person is somehow right, even though she's so clearly wrong, did crack me up. Let's look at this one.
I can't imagine there's a lot of like intellectual.
No, there's literally zero substance to it. Anyway.
I'm just going to make it really easy and quick for everyone. Don't take the corporation side. How about the multi-million-dollar corporation? We don't immediately listen to everything they're saying against a drag queen in this economy. Like, how about we take a second, breathe, and check that we're not glazing a corporation instead of defending a drag queen?
She said, I'm going to make it really simple and easy for you guys. You're going to make trademark law really simple and easy for you guys. Did you go to school for this, baby? I mean, like, this is the epitome of not meant to be simple and easy if you actually want to understand it. So,
no, I read the whole lawsuit, and there's huge swaths of it that I don't understand because it's like referencing patent law and trademark
you know
law.
what? Honestly, I envy her. I wish that life could be that simple for me.
Drag queen, corporation.
Drag queen, good.
Must
Corporation,
be right.
bad. I'm going to make this easy. I feel emotional. My biases make me lead this way. Therefore, this is what's right. That's literally it. It's like I have a strong anti-corporation bias. Therefore, anytime a corporation does anything, they're wrong. Life must be blissful.
Also, like, unaware that Patagonia, the drag queen, is now the corporation.
Correct. Like, you don't even know that she is a corporation.
And she's literally running a business.
Or maybe an LLC. I don't know if she's an S.
Isn't that a corporation?
Not. It's a type of corporation. It's a business. Well, an LLC is different. You can be like a corporation or an LLC.
Doesn't the C literally stand for
limited liability? Yeah.
Limited liability corporation.
Yeah, and then there's a corporation that's separate.
But I'm saying they're just different types of corporations.
Correct.
Right.
But
so it's still
if you don't say limited liability, then it's different than corporation because corporation is a separate type.
Sure. But they're all corporations.
Yes, but we weren't saying LLC. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine.
Sure. Okay.
This is irrelevant.
It's a business versus business.
It's a business versus business. Yes.
Now, here's the funniest TikTok of all. This accused us who are disagreeing with the drag queen.
Oh, I was like, are normal gays involved?
No.
I need an ego boost.
I can't even say with a straight face.
Wait, no, don't tell me.
Okay, how about you just wait for the twist then?
Yeah.
I'll cue up the video and you wait for the twist.
Do you all remember when I said sales culture is rape culture? I want you to think about that in the context of writing for and parroting a corporation who is saying, well, what did she expect? She kind of asked for it. I know that may sound like kind of jarring and maybe a little bit silly, like, oh, that's your too woke friend. But it's not. Because I'm
had a
opening
little
this
brief
app,
moment of clarity.
and the only comments I'm seeing, hell, even on Reddit, are, well, what did she expect? She kind of asked for it. Come on. You can't be accepting the propaganda line, the culture line, from corporations so easily. You can't be so eager.
What the What do you mean the culture line? We're not talking about so you could use the line.
What did she expect?
That's like saying if a word is used talking about something that's bad, we cannot use, or a word or phrase is used talking about something that's bad in a specific situation, you cannot use that word or phrase in any other situation.
Or like if a line of logic.
She has one brain cell.
Oh,
I really do not understand how you can come up with a thought.
Also, how is that not
stupid?
Offensive to victims and actual like survivors to be conflating with that with somebody blatantly infringing on someone else's trademark and getting sued
So are people
for it?
not allowed to be ignorant and stupid? Like, does she operate under the assumption that like people's actions can't lead to chain reactions
or
that cause something?
Or if you point that out, you're doing culture. So if you smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day your whole life and then get lung cancer, and I make the point that like, hey, what did you expect? Apparently that's the same as blaming a victim for her own because she wore a short skirt. Was
that directed at my vaping habit?
No.
Oh. But if he says that to me, let's say something were to happen.
You should start when I believe about you say that's rape culture.
If I get like I'm not going to say lung cancer, but if I were to get like sick in my lungs from vaping, and he said that, I'm just going to say he's a rapist.
Whoa, that's even a step beyond rape culture.
I know, I'm taking it a step woker than her.
That's not like you.
Yeah.
Anyway, the final kind of conclusion to this story is that Patagonia offered the drag queen a couple of conditions and was like, we'll drop the lawsuit if you do this. And then Patagonia responded. So here's a headline from Pink News. Pattie Gonia says no deal. The Patagonia demand to stop selling merch in trademark dispute. Drag performer and climate activist Pattie Gonia has publicly rejected Patagonia's settlement terms in an ongoing trademark dispute, replying, "No deal," after the outdoor brand demanded she stopped selling and promoting products under her name. Her name. This is so biased. It's like under their name, actually. Patagonia set out its position on Instagram, with Pattie also responding on social media, saying she had already agreed to 2 of the demands. Patagonia's post lists 3 conditions it says would resolve the dispute. Patagonia must withdraw all trademark applications, stop using Patagonia's logos, and stop selling and promoting apparel and other products as Patagonia. So that she'll agree to the first 2, to withdraw the trademark application, and to not use their logos, which she says she hasn't been, but we pointed out she has been.
Yeah.
She just hasn't been selling
in marketing,
items.
but she hasn't been selling them. Correct. Okay.
But she won't agree to stop selling and promoting products in their industry as Pattie Gonia.
Y'all are gonna need to duke this out in court.
Well, but we already know who will win. Yeah. And then when she loses, she's going to be like, I'm a victim.
Well, the thing is I was thinking about, like, if I was in this position, because negotiations, especially with a friendly company, going public, that would be indicative that you realize you're losing. Because if you're friendly with a corporation and you can work something out and you have the upper hand in a negotiation, you don't need to go public. But considering she now needs public pressure on the corporation, that shows that she was starting from a losing position.
It shows that she knows she can't win in actual court, so she's trying to just win in the court of public opinion
in hopes that the corporation caves.
That they just get so much backlash, they withdraw their lawsuit even though they're
Because legally speaking,
she's cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a trademark law expert, but it just seems obvious. And all the legal commentators who have discussed it agree. So,
correct.
I mean, anyway.
Well, this is interesting.
Narrator, end of the story, conclusion. You do not, in fact, always have to just blindly side with a drag queen.
No, you don't.
A drag queen?
Ready for members' comments?
Yes, member comments time. Mr. Producer, get to work.
Okay.
Good boy.
So, random question. What happened to that reality show you guys were a part of?
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
You take that one.
Ask them, because they still owe me money.
You want to elaborate?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
If the message reaches them, you've got my bank account information.
When they didn't pay you what you were owed, I have never seen you crash out harder.
Because, like,
that shit pissed you off.
I don't know if I should talk about this public. Again, negotiations, they don't need to be public unless you're losing, and I'm not. So.
Oh, there you have it. Next one is best content on the member page. Bring this diva back.
That was about the video with my sister.
Oh, yeah, we should do it.
We love sister.
I'm going to show that comment to my sister so she can crash out. Since
we also did a video with your sister.
I mean, that was also a very good video.
Yeah,
I
people
love your
who
sister,
know
though.
you well.
But that was we did that a long time ago.
That was early.
We did both of those a long time ago.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I love your sister because she's like our biggest fan on Instagram. She's be liking everything
She
I
likes
post on the Normal Gays.
everything. She sees way more Normal Gays content than I do.
Next one. I just want to say I love you guys so much. You guys make me laugh in this crazy, hectic, sensitive world. I think you may judge me because I'm overweight, but it is something I am working on. I just want to say thank you for giving me hope that everyone is not so sensitive in the world. Someone can laugh, not get upset. I'm sorry if this comment has nothing to do with this video, but always watch you on my TV, and I wanted to comment something, so it hopped up on my computer. Thank you for giving me normal in this crazy world.
I love when people post pictures. Okay, so here's a call to the normies. Post pictures of us playing on the TV because it makes me feel so important.
Oh my God.
When you guys post it on your stories and they're like watching Normal Gays and I just see my face, but only when it's close up on my face or with both of us. Don't do it with Brad because I'm not going to repost it. But yeah, what was I going to say? I don't know. What was the comment? The overweight thing.
We're not.
I am in no place to judge someone for any, like, I guess you can classify being like overeating as like a mental thing. I've got a lot of going on, so I can't really judge you for that.
No.
And I'm also on a GLP, so I'd probably be overweight too if I wasn't.
We are not judging you just for being overweight. We're judging you if you gaslight and pretend it's healthy and sexy to be morbidly obese, or if you like. What else pisses us off when people do it?
Well, I think you should be able to feel sexy if you're overweight. Like, if you feel it, you feel it. Delusion is the power to everything.
But don't do those videos where it's like the chick with the 200-pound stomach being like, you want this, jiggling on Instagram. Like that.
Some people's
okay,
some people do like that.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. I don't think I have a bad rap as being fat phobic, as other comments will point out.
I don't.
I would just reject fat positivity, fat activism, and then I reject like victimhood or helplessness rhetoric around it. Yeah. But I've never said it's easy to lose weight.
Brad is the most judgmental person I think I've ever met.
Explain.
Like, you don't put moral emphasis on your judgments, but you do make a lot of them.
That's fair.
That's true. But I think sometimes people confuse my matter of fact analysis of something with me morally condemning it in a way that I don't actually
I called Brad last night. I was doing some hood rat and he was like, I'm not judging. And I'm like, you're judging, but you can tell he's not like looking at you less than.
I'm not morally judging. I was slightly concerned that you would get home safe.
And I did.
Here we are. Next one. Brad calling his boyfriend good boy because he's being a good trad wife and balancing cooking with producing. They are an adorable Hallmark movie waiting to happen. When was I balancing cooking with producing?
I cook more than him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like you guys have a good balance. Like, none of you is like the trad wife.
No.
Like,
I wish. I wish he was a trad wife.
Yeah, I mean, in my situation, I'm very much
the
bottom.
The trad wife.
Ridiculously stereotypically.
Yeah, and I think it's because I'm so like opinionated and dominant in my normal life that it's nice to be able to just shut off and be like, okay.
We could psychoanalyze that.
Yeah.
This might be extremely woke of me, but I kind of think cancel culture online is pretty sexist. It seems to always be women getting brutally attacked and bullied for tiny little mistakes, whereas it's way less common with male creators.
Yeah, think about Katy Perry.
Oh my God, not everything is about Katy Perry.
Well, think about female pop stars. The amount of shit that they get for the things that they do. Meanwhile, Chris Brown is selling out stadiums and he punched a bitch in the face.
I agree,
but then there's all #MeToo.
Yeah, but that's a little different than cancel culture. Because
it got to cancel culture.
Sure, I agree, but I think they're more talking about like, this was in response to the non-binary streamer video we did.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're talking about like content creators. And I agree there is this double standard, but it's also partly because of who their fans are.
Do you want to know the real bomb here that I'm going to drop? It's because it's other women canceling them.
That's where I was going with that. It's because their fan bases are female and females are much more.
And what is it? Intersexual competition? Is that what it's called?
That is a thing. But it's like their fan bases are sensitive. Whereas like a male creator with a heavily male audience, I think is just going to be less likely to get
like a video game streamer or something like that.
There's some psychological studies, and I'm not an expert on it, on female intra competition. I think that's what it is, that females compete in a way that is different than men. And a lot of times that competition is like destroying a reputation rather than being physically aggressive. So I think that psychology might play a little bit into it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. To add to the conversation about following Trump, I had a high school friend send me a DM after the last election asking if I wanted her marriage annulled and made illegal, if I wanted her to suffer and her life to be ruined, if I wanted to deny her access to healthcare, all because she's a lesbian and I follow Trump. I also follow Bernie and AOC, as well as Biden and Kamala at the time. I want to see these people post on my timeline in real time so I'm informed and can make my own opinions. I never responded because I wasn't dignifying her stupidity with a response.
Good.
Yeah, good.
I mean,
Clarkson can't help but feed the trolls.
What?
You argue with people.
Not in my DMs.
In comments.
In comments, yes, because I want other people to see me read you down.
Oh my God.
I do everything for the audience.
But the funny thing about this to me is that whatever you think about Trump, he's not even vocally against gay marriage.
No.
And I see you follow Trump, so you want my lesbian marriage annulled?
I mean, I take issue with him not being vocally against it because, yeah, as a politician, he's not. But, like, he supports a lot of organizations that are.
His policy position is that he's fine with it.
Yes.
And so it's just not a good example. And
it's weird because that's not something that's on Trump's agenda.
No. That's what I'm saying, though. It's not
if you followed like the Heritage Foundation or like that other Katie Faust thing, then I would be like, oh, But
I'm not sure I would agree about following.
No.
If you supported them.
I think it's you can't come to a definitive conclusion, but you can ask the question.
Maybe if it's something niche like Heritage or Katie Faust's organization, but if it's something just like following the president.
The president of the United States is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
Although I did unfollow him just because I was tired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired, but
Yeah.
okay, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for being with us. Do become a channel member. We're dropping 3 members only videos this week. Our therapy advice, where we like react to Dear Jake letters, and then we give real, actual advice instead of stupid woke bullshit.
Newsflash, it was about open relationships.
And Clarkson crashed out a little.
Yeah.
And we're also doing one where we answer your voicemails from SpeakPipe that you guys left us months ago, and we finally got around to answering it. And some of them are tea. And then we're also doing, we're going to respond to insane Grindr messages from Clarkson's phone.
I'm excited for that
from Reddit. And that'll be this Sunday. So become a channel member so we read your comments and you unlock all this extra content.
To these comments because honestly, I just love that.
You get attention, even
yeah,
negative.
like it just makes me kind of like the main character, you know? If you're the punching bag, then everybody's like, "Oh,
fuck." Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.